Melissa, and I'm so excited to be here today. One ordinary day, I had an idea about improving my community, and I rolled it around in my mind for a few days, and then I said it out loud, first to myself, and then I said it to my 2-year-old, and then I said it to some adults, and then there was like this green light and a loud shout saying, "Go, do it now!" So I did, and before I knew it, even though I had an infant and a 2-year-old, and it didn't seem like I would be going anywhere anytime soon, somehow I moved forward, and the idea actually happened. This is just one story of one person who decided to make a change in her community. It happens all the time, all over the world. But the more it happens, the better our world becomes. Today I'm going to talk about the importance of being the change you want to see in your community. In order to change your community, you have to look beyond yourself. When you work as a team, you really can move mountains. God has a habit of planting seeds in me and then waiting a really, really long time before sprouting that thing into something that basically overtakes my entire life. This particular seed was planted 15 years ago when I decided that I needed a favorite quote. People had favorite quotes. I didn't have one. I wanted one. So I was hunting around, patiently waiting for my favorite quote to appear to me. And though I don't actually recall the instance when it happened, I do remember that when I read Gandhi's quote, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world," I was amazed. Not only were those words that my young, idealistic self really wanted to live by, they were spoken by a man who was all about action, a person who consistently made tough changes in his life to inspire others and create meaningful movement. These days, sometimes this quote seems kind of kitschy. It's all over the place. But really, it's a hardball challenge, one that I cannot ignore. And whenever I hear something or see something that I don't like going on, I hear this little voice whisper to me, "Be the change." And then I either, at this point, now that's been going on for 15 years, I either have to stop not liking that thing, or I have to take action. That's kind of where I'm at with it. But I would implement this new mantra all those years ago in many, many little ways, but it by no means overtook my life until 5.5 years ago when I moved from Madrid, Spain to Lake Forest Park, USA. Something hit me when I moved to Lake Forest, little cute Lake Forest Park. I just really wanted to be part of a community that was vibrant. And I was thinking about it all the time. I wasn't really doing anything. I was just thinking and being in this place. At the time, it was really that I just wanted to be part of something that was cooperative, something that was vibrant. And while our neighborhood was great, I wasn't seeing cooperation and vibrance. Like most things that you're just starting out with, you don't have any idea what you're getting into. This is good. This is God protecting you from never doing anything, because generally, things are just too hard when you can see the entirety of the journey you're about to take. So my little innocent idea was to start a bilingual preschool. I had heard that one should look around for preschools well in advance in case there was a waiting list that you needed to be a part of. And I didn't find what I was looking for in my neighborhood. I did a lot of research, and there was no shortage of early childhood goodness in the Seattle area, but it was looking like I was going to have to drive an hour to get there and then back again. And what I wanted for my kids needed to be close to home in order to be effective. So at the time, it seemed totally natural that I would suggest starting my own preschool, even though I had never spent any time in a preschool at all. I actually personally didn't even go to preschool. But before I knew it, I was presenting a business plan and actually getting the thing started. 12 families agreed to join us in the first year, and looking back, it was madness. But at the time, it seemed perfectly agreeable. What I didn't know, of course, was how much time and energy and effort it was going to take to get the thing started. And after the sunshine of the green light for the go-ahead wore off, roadblock after roadblock appeared. But each time, there was some person to get us through, some hack to get us around a situation, some burst of energy to get me through the night and into the next afternoon. It was amazing. God was relentless at not letting his idea die. Things that would have stopped me never even slowed him down. At one point, while I was working with the city to get our playground fence permit approved, we were going round and round about what would be an appropriate color and what could be the right size for the fence. I was nonchalantly informed that we might not even be allowed to have a preschool. And I remember standing there, feeling very, very stunned and thinking, is this for real? Am I part of this crazy project? What am I doing here? The fence worked out. The educational institution permit worked out. The late tuition worked out. Grants to get the whole thing started worked out. Everything that didn't seem like it was going to work out worked out. Even just last week, stuff that was coming down on us worked out. In fact, all of it has just been learning experiences to help me be a better leader and for the school to be better equipped for our community. On our first day of school 4 years ago, with those 12 trusting and brave families, I remember embracing the reality with great satisfaction, the excitement that this preschool was going to make a change in our community, and it was so empowering, so energizing. The thing about a strong community is that it's not just about one person. It's about a collective working together, teachers, parents, students, volunteers. That missing piece that I was feeling in our community got a lot smaller that day because of all these people who were brought together by our preschoolers. I need to pause in the story to mention the amazing beauty of preschoolers. Now, I like a challenge. That may be why I went ahead with blindly starting a preschool. I adore my children. Another reason why I may have gone ahead with the preschool plan. And I wish I could say I was following God's call, but I still thought it was my idea at that point. It wasn't until the first week of school that I actually realized what an amazing gift I had been given in this project. Working with preschoolers is nothing but joy and wonder and exploring curiosity. That first time a little preschooler experiences fizzy science is euphoric. I mean, it's beautiful. I love seeing their little hands painting rudimentary art masterpieces and then hanging them up all over the place for us to enjoy and admire and talk about together. These smart, thoughtful, loving little people light up my life. They energize me, and they give hope for the future every single day. I think to myself, if these guys are who's going to be our future, I'm on board. I can't wait. I love spending my time with these people. When you make a change for good in your community, everyone is strengthened. Community provides support, a sense of belonging, a strong sense of self, and value in a healthy community. People feel emotionally and physically safe and valued. They develop social abilities and have a sense of sharing and caring for each other. Without being part of a community, a person can feel isolated and alone. They might have a feeling of unworthiness. They might feel like a failure, and they might feel desperate. And we've seen a lot of that lately in our communities around the nation. This is why community is so important. This is why when you take time to listen and observe the needs of your community and then decide to make a change, no matter how small, everyone gets stronger. Everyone feels the love. My change was about a preschool, but it's not just about supporting 4-year-olds. This project is about the whole community. For most of the preschool families, being part of Pepitas is their initial exposure to the story of Jesus. An art project about the love of God hangs in Jesse's living room, and he proudly tells his parents' guests all about it. Clara belts out the song, "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands," to her unsuspecting grandparents. Josh uses a sharing strategy that he learned from Miss Carol on a neighbor kid who he's having a hard time getting along with. Jasmine and her family read their brand new storybook Bible together at bedtime each night because she insists on it, and they find themselves in conversations about God's love. This is God's preschool. He's taken this project not to the next level, but to his level. A community that can move mountains is at our fingertips. We can build it together. In fact, that is the only way it's going to happen. Nothing great can happen on its own. An effective change requires collaboration, intentional, thoughtful, strategic collaboration. Great communities are safe, open places, a place where we nurture relationships, care for each other, and support each other's growth. You have to be active. You have to listen. You have to create spaces for people to collaborate and share ideas that will spawn off your ideas and strengthen the fiber of your community. A community has to evolve in order to survive. You have to let it breathe and grow and shift. It's a vulnerable living organism that requires care and a lot of effort. I didn't know all this stuff about community building before I started this project, and it's been a big, crazy learning experience. As far as I saw it, I just wanted something for my kids, but that's not what God saw. His idea was a lot bigger than mine. His idea was a lot more loving than mine. His idea was a lot more effective than mine. God's ideas are always better than mine. There are 3 specific things that I've learned on this journey that I'd like to share with you. First, start as small as you can and then grow organically. When the idea hatched, I had these grand plans of what the preschool might look like. And looking back, it's very much like the plans preschoolers make when they're excited about something. True. I'm so thankful for the circumstances that required us to start small. That first year, with half the kids I thought we were going to start with from my original business plan, was the best thing that could have ever happened to us. We are able to figure ourselves out. We could really serve. We could grow into ourselves. The next year, we added 12 more kids, and now we have 40 kids. That's 40 kids, 80 parents, plus their siblings, plus their nannies, plus their grandparents, plus all the people who love them. And believe me, everybody loves preschoolers. It's a lot to manage. We weren't in an emergency relief situation when we started this school. There was no actual urgency to grow big and strong and fast. We're thriving because we're beyond surviving. 2, create a mission and then be flexible about the plan on how to get there. Writing a mission statement is essential, but it takes time. It takes time to pray. It takes time to reflect, time to explore your direction. Our current mission is based off the original one from our business plan, but it wasn't until year 3 that we got it polished up and finalized. By then, we could clearly understand what we were about. And the mission doesn't dictate how you arrive at your goal. It's meant to guide you and help you, to keep you on track so you can get there. Every policy we write, every curriculum we buy, every art project we prepare is based on this mission. Pepitas Preschool provides a quality bilingual education in a nurturing, safe, and supportive environment that promotes Christian values. As a ministry of Lake Forest Park Presbyterian Church, we partner with parents, the community, to deliver affordable and positive learning with the goal of developing students who become self-sufficient, lifelong learners, and responsible world citizens. It's kind of a mouthful, but every word is intentional and meaningful. And every time I read it out loud, I get excited. I get to be part of that. I could not be more alive and excited about what God has me involved in. And finally, create and nurture a small support system for yourself. Be sure to put God at the top of that list. While you're busy being the change you want to see in your community, people are going to get mad at you. You're probably going to get a little bit mad. People are going to disagree with you. They're going to judge you. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make decisions that you feel unsure about. You won't know what you're doing because you're in uncharted territory. It's part of making a change. It's not going to be easy, and it's not going to happen overnight. There won't be any bonuses, and the worldly measures of success are going to be subtle to nothing. This is when you're going to need a couple of people who you can earnestly confide in. You'll recognize who these people are because they will be wise and godly. They'll believe in the mission plan or the mission statement. These are people who can encourage you and persevere and hold on to the idea, even when you may be isolated and looking like a crazy person. When things don't seem to be working, you have to see the opportunity for innovation. You have to think laterally about a problem so that you can solve it. You'll need to keep God at the center of your heart and mind to keep you balanced. You have to remember that this big, crazy change project, it's not yours. It's God's, even though you'll dump your whole self into it. You have to remember that it's God's change and his mission that you're working toward. You have to remember that his path, the path to his purpose, is pretty much not going to be what you think it is. And that being the change is a radical thing to do. You may as well accept that you're a little bit crazy. The change I was called to make had to do with preschoolers, but the call for change could be for anything. I didn't have any experience with preschoolers before I started this project, but God used me anyways. He brought me the right people, he gave me the tools I needed to make it happen, and he flashed a green light in my face. God wants community for us. We can feel and hear God through people by loving them and by allowing them to love us. It takes time and commitment, but I urge you to listen and be flexible about the plan, God's plan, because when you put God's plan into action, who can stop it? Just let them try. Thank you.